Everyone can benefit from adding grip strength into their workout.
Grip matters. A lot of different aspects to it. This is how we train it dynamically.
Alternating our grip as we move, hearing the violence of his hand hit the plate, challenging his shoulder, all these power movements, starting out with an inverted row. He's grabbing a barbell. If you don't have access to this, you can go with a suspension trainer. And basically he's gonna do a plyo row, so horizontally row, explode, and he's gonna alternate his hand grips each repetition. Let's go for it, DJ. Explode up, change hands, change hands. He's dynamically grabbing, he's changing hand placement. So he's working his hands, his forearms, his elbows, working his fingers, really moving in and out, rotating his hands, challenging his shoulder, all these power movements, but being explosive with a horizontal row aspect, challenging everything from his fingertips up to his shoulders. So had this conversation with DJ about grip and how a lot of the movements we were doing were slow, hold, static, and he was sharing a story about being on a caving ladder one time and how your grip, you don't realize how violent it is until you have to grab and go.
Yeah, man. I mean, you got to think. There's small little caving ladders. They're about this big, the actual rungs you grab a hold of, and the guy at the very bottom of it, you have to hold everybody's weight to keep it as taut as possible. So you're smoked. So it is a static hold at 90 degrees. No different than doing, static mountain climber pull-ups or anything like that. As you're going up, you got to think you got 80 pounds of stuff on. It's soaking wet. This thing is banging against the side of a ship, and a lot of times you lose your grip, and the only way to do it is just to reestablish it. So you have to have that explosiveness. Same thing in combatives. You mess around with high-level grapplers and wrestlers. They grab a hold of your wrist, and your whole world comes to an end.
Yep.
That's what I kind of talked with Vernon. We need all aspects. We need the static. We need the pinch grip. We need, connecting it to the wrist. We got to be able to pronate stuff, and then we have to be able to snatch the life out of something. That's why I love these plate pops, man.
So we're gonna go with this plate pop here. This will be a starting point, and we're gonna add some progressions to this, but just being violent with this plate.
Pick something that's good for your hand size. You guys start off super small. If it gets so big and you don't have a Michael Jordan size hand, your strength isn't gonna be relative. So I like a 35. I'm trying to get a nice full grip, and then I'm trying to rip this thing off the floor, completely break my grip, and then reestablish it. So you have to smack this thing and really catch it.
My favorite part about this, I hope you guys can hear it on the mics, is hearing the violence of his hand hit the plate. He is meeting that plate. He is yanking and then meeting it. He is violent through these contractions, controlling the plate each rep, being explosive on the grab. Beautiful.
Such a good hand pump.
Yeah. You feel good though meeting the plate, and this is a good rubber plate. So if you don't have this, it could be anything. It could be a kettlebell. It could be whatever it is with the handle. We just like the plates, like DJ said, so we can change the hand grip that we're using, so we're more of a pinch, so we're not always wrapping our hands around things.
Exactly. Not always going to have that perfect grip where I can wrap my thumb over the bar, nice static hold. Sometimes fingertips are all you have. So. You got to be strong in all aspects, man. Be super well-rounded, especially when it comes to grip.
As DJ mentioned that last one, being dynamic, changing that pinch grip and the width of which we grab. DJ's going to go with this. Now he's going to go plate flip. So a little bit more violent, a little bit more dynamic, more coordination involved.
Got to be aggressive, man. If you let that plate get too far out of control, you really start to reach for it. Think about I'm trying to flip it 180 degrees and meet it. Flip and meet it. Flip and meet it.
For me, I look at this as something we're trying to implement grip work, but at the same time, have a little fun, a little bit of competition in the room. Guys start grabbing plates. As long as we're being cautious about our fingers, and also a good place that we can fail where we have space. If you do drop this plate, it's not hitting someone in the foot. It's not bouncing and rolling and hit someone in the ankle. We have a good open space here. Being dynamic, having a little bit of fun, challenging our grip, all good wins here. He's kind of loading into the hips, loading back out, adding that rotation, driving up through his hip, being explosive. Once again, grab, go. Grab, go. Beautiful. What are you thinking about when you're ripping and grabbing?
Trying to time the release, almost like a kettlebell swing. I'll hinge, I get it to right here, and I'm thinking about flicking my wrist and having a plate rotate 180 degrees back into my hand. So I'm keeping my hand nice and open, so when the plate meets it, all my fingers clamp down on it. Same thing.
When you
snap the wrist.
A little bit more dynamic than the last one. When you're grabbing the plate, are you trying to get it deep into the pocket, or are you just hitting it with your fingers?
Yeah, you can see like a little bit of bruising right there. I'm trying to get it right in the web of my hand so I can get the entire thing.
And you're meeting it.
Yeah, like you really got to snatch this thing out of the air.
Cool.
But for me, it really helps, man. It really boosts that confidence. You start messing around with people. Got to snatch him, got to pull this, got to grab that. To me, it connects all the dots. I love it.
Being violent with our grip is great, but we don't want to always be too light. We want to make sure we are implementing enough heavy pulling movements and we are loading that strength of that grip while being dynamic. So we're going to go with the heavy kettlebell here. This is about a little bit more than 100 pounds. And the expression I'm going to give DJs, I want you to max pull it up, and I just want you to decelerate it back down.
Make sure your feet are out of the way.
Yep.
And chalk yourself.
So don't think kettlebell swing, just think vertical expression, pulling it up, yank, redirect, grab.
Cool.
Let's get it. Good bend in the elbows when we're pulling up. Redirect it back down. Try to redirect it as fast as we can from the top, so you're slowing it down from that top end point, being explosive or being violent with our grip, exchanging our hand positions, alternating our grip as we move, shifting our weight side to side in our hips, rotating with the upper body. 2 more, 1, 2, reset. I love that for expression vertically, and as well alternating our grip, changing, once again, being violent with our hand position, but this is a heavier weight compared to the plate or a dumbbell that you actually have to absorb that weight and redirect it.
The accuracy in the hand is so important.
Yeah.
If you don't build in that hand-eye coordination, you miss that. That's a long fall with 106 pounds. So yeah, build up into it nice and easy, but I love that for connecting all the dots.
Yep. No different than we changed the implement of grabbing a bar, grabbing a plate, grabbing a kettlebell. Those are all getting my hand around it, except for that pinch a little bit. I like this one. DJ's been messing around with this years ago when we were in the old gym, but just a different hand grip position. That's an octagon shape. I don't want to get geometry lessoned on here, but just having that octagon shape of grabbing and moving, and DJ's just going to walk through that progression like we did with the other movements.
It really started messing around with this thing after I had to do a thumb surgery. Didn't have any mobility, really trying to open this thing up, and then I had no hand strength. I couldn't do anything. So this is how we really scaled down. We started with a 10 pound, 15, 20. My ultimate goal will be able to pinch grip and walk around with a suitcase carry with a 30 pound dumbbell. We've got a metal one, and I try not to get my fingertips inside of this 30, so I make it as hard as I can. And this is really isolating each individual finger pad and in creating strength from there. So I can't rely on my overall hand to crush it, just my fingertips. So my path progression, get a nice clean grip, pick up and release. And the faster I can do that, I can start to simulate that violent nature. After I build in some confidence, then I can start doing the plate pops. Same thing.
He's meeting that dumbbell. Violent movement, odd grab of his hand. Great for just not just your elbow or your forearm, your hand strength, grip strength, but also getting up into that elbow.
Every time I reseat this, I have to reestablish that grip. So I find it beneficial to reset at the bottom. Open hand, grab, catch and release. Open hand, catch and release. If you're building in all that repeatable success over and over and you really want to challenge it, see if I got enough juice in the tank here, we'll add in a flip. Same thing we did with the plate flip. Now we try with this. Significantly harder. Make sure your feet are out of the way. We'll see.
Woo!
What you just said.
Money.
Dumbbell pops with a flip. Yeah, man, just change up the angle. Not everything's going to be smooth. It's not always going to be a texture and neural bar. It's not always going to be a perfect thumbs over grip. We got to be really exploratory with all the different challenges we put our grip through, because reality is not static. Everything's kind of violent in nature anyway, or at least we have to have the ability to go all the way there. That's my path of progression on grip training.
That's how we train grip.